Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Kyle Graves, Kyle Graves Live. I'm coming to you with this new video I watched of some cool movies I watched this month. So let's get to it. Please like and subscribe. So the first movie that I saw that was pretty awesome was the Mortal Kombat Legends cage match. Starring in 1980s Hollywood. So it's a cartoon put out by Warner Brothers, similar, style to the new Batman, except it's in the Mortal Kombat universe. And this is the first one that I've seen in the Mortal Kombat, franchise. I don't know if there's other ones or not, but it's set in the 1980s. He's got was it Miami Vice style, Johnny Cage there, and it says in the 1980s Hollywood, action star Johnny Cage is looking to become an A-list actor. But when his co-star Jennifer goes missing from set, Johnny finds himself thrust into a world filled with shadows, danger, and deceit. As he embarks on a bloody journey, Johnny quickly discovers the City of Angels has more than a few devils in its midst. And it's pretty cool. I can't show any video. I don't want to get a copyright, but I'll show some stills of the movie. It's pretty cool, just the artwork and everything. But you see the Warner Brothers animation. I mean, the artwork. I'm sure it was done on computers, but it has a 90s Batman vibe to it as far as the cartoon, but also kind of has an Archer, the thick black outlines. It's not as well done as Batman the animated series, but it kind of reminds me of Archer a little bit. And so there's Johnny Cage, and that's his assistant there looking at the map on the left there. He's pretty cool. Oh, and Johnny Cage, his assistant asks him, how do I be like you? And Johnny Cage was like, I used to not be, this badass movie star. I used to get bullied a lot as a kid. And this is a picture of him getting a wedgie hung up on a chain link fence. So even Johnny Cage had it rough. And then Johnny Cage goes and gets karate lessons, so he can fight back. Very 80s, montage, like I was, so they actually probably the best thing of the movie is the theme song. It's very like Journey-esque, like it really feels like some 80s movie. Oh, and he fights. He goes up against the bully and fights back. The artwork here is pretty cool. I don't know what software they use, but it's pretty entertaining. And there you go, the very Miami Vice look. Kind of reminds me of was that Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And so he comes in here, and there's these two women who are both apparently demons fighting over this scroll to release demons in LA, and this begins the quest of Johnny Cage here in the cage match. He goes up against several demons in LA, and you see a glimpse of Raiden. Apparently this girl right here and to the left here is Raiden's daughter. So that she's got a Johnny Cage refers to her as Frisbee Hat, so it's pretty funny. And Joe McHale, the guy who used to do Talk Soup back in the day on E, is the voice of Johnny Cage. So it's entertaining. It's not going to win an Oscar or anything. I don't know if a cartoon has ever won an Oscar. I take that back. Snow White, I think, won an Oscar for animated movie, but for movie of the year or whatever. But I don't think. But that's because it was the first of its kind. So this is a pretty good movie. Johnny Cage cage match. It was worth the. It's worth the look here. It's pretty good. Oh, you can't see Frisbee Hat here. There's Frisbee Hat up there at the top there. That's Raiden's daughter. And so let's check a couple other movies that I saw this month. I saw some good ones too. So this one was just released as a brand new uh, movie here. It was released October 17th, I believe. So it's brand new. And as far as a Warner Brothers cartoon movie, it's pretty good. I mean, I put it up there with Batman Ninja Turtles. I mean, Batman Ninja Turtles is cooler just because it's got Batman and Ninja Turtles. But I think they could have done better with it. But it was good too. Let's see here. Halloween. So here we are in October. Watched several Halloweens recently, and there's one that I had never seen before. And you know, because when you think of Halloween, you're thinking of, you know, Michael Myers, but this one right here, Halloween 3, is completely different. I mean, Halloween 3 has a, give me a second here, I'm going to type that in. So Halloween 3 has got a completely different vibe than, and it's the season of the witch. And it, you know, Michael Myers is, it's completely off the storyline of the other Halloween movies, and it's worth a watch because it's just completely different, and the story is really bizarre. You know, here you have these masks, and there's each mask comes with a this circuit chip, and no, you know, of course, all these people are buying these masks, and they keep it's subliminal programming. Like the mask company keeps advertising these masks with like this song, you know, 8 more days to Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. So it's funny, but it gets kind of annoying. And during Halloween, the subliminal programming, all the people are watching the TV, like, hey, don't forget to tune in at 9 o'clock on Halloween night. And you know, we're going to be giving a Shamrock, the mask company here, Shamrock Mask Company is going to be giving away a prize. But really, what's going on is that the mask company is setting these circuits that are in each mask to go off and to kill everybody who's wearing the mask. And so this guy up top here is, you know, the storyline's crazy. So this guy's like a doctor. Let's see here. Let me get in this, show you a couple scenes. There's quite a bit of nudity in here, so it's like, as far as like showing certain scenes from the movie, I don't know if I will, just because I don't know, when I'm randomly clicking, I don't want to bring up any of that. But it's a good one, and there's a bunch of robots too. I mean, I just recently watched Westworld, and so the guy who owns the mask shop also has a bunch of robots. Like, he's got a robot army, and the doctor here kills a couple of the robots, and he's a bunch of circuits. And this movie was released in 1982, and I mean, gosh, this is 40 years ago. This was released October 22nd, 1982. And so the synopsis here is Dr. Daniel Chalice, along with Ellie Grimbridge, stumble on a gruesome murder strategy when Ellie's novelty salesman father, Harry, is murdered while in possession of a Halloween mask made by the Silver Shamrock Mask Company. Colonel Cochran, the corporation's owner, wants to go back Halloween into its roots. Together with his masks and also his unspeakable scheme would unleash destruction and death across the country. So and it's produced by the same guy who produced the other Halloween, so Dino De Laurentiis. So it's produced by the same guy, but it's completely different story than what you think of the Halloween franchise. It's basically, like this corporations, selling all of these masks, but their goal is to kill everyone who's wearing them on Halloween. So it's worth a watch. It's not, like I said, I had never watched it. I had never heard of it before. I just recently watched the other Halloweens. The Rob Zombie Halloweens are pretty good. His vision of the Halloween franchise. Let's see here. Let's watch. What was another one that I saw that was pretty good? Retribution, I didn't particularly care for. Oh, Saw X. Just recently watched Saw, and I don't know what y'all think. As far as y'all's love for the Saw, the Saw franchise. This movie was very gruesome. And it was hard for me to watch, just because the plot was not very good, and it was just incredibly gory. I mean, it was just like right from the get-go, the girl's like sawing her arm off, digging through this guy implanted a bomb like in her forearm. It's one of the most gruesome movies that I ever attempted to watch. I mean, I'm sure if you like the Saw franchise, you'll like this one, but the storyline just wasn't there for me. Not like Halloween 3. Halloween 3, I mean, the graphics and everything, from 1982, it's really no computer graphics at all. Claymation and mannequins and things like that. But Halloween 3 is just a much better movie than Saw 10 to me. But if you do like the Saw franchise, I'm sure you're going to watch it. But another Halloween horror movie that I saw that was just released, and it's a low budget, but it's way better than Saw 10 to me. And I recommend this other one here. It's called The Jester. So let me go to this here real quick. So this guy right here, The Jester, man. This movie was pretty good. And the storyline was a lot better than Saw 10. It was just like the old guy is just like in the, he's watching from like his tower, other people like trying to kill themselves, and he's just like, nodding, like, yes, good job. And it was more gruesome than, it's like if I'm going to watch a horror movie, I want a good story as well. But this has a pretty good storyline. And here's the synopsis of it. A malevolent being known as the Jesters terrorizes the inhabitants of a small town on Halloween night, including two estranged sisters who must come together to find a way to defeat this evil entity. And this was released in September 20th, 2023, and it's pretty low budget, but it's different. I mean, it's worth a watch, I thought. But I would check out the Jester before Saw 10 for sure. All right, what else? Well, if you haven't watched Mission Impossible, I just saw this earlier this month. I know I'm kind of late to the party on Mission Impossible, but this Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is awesome. I mean, Tom Cruise did it again. I know he's basically leaving it open for a sequel. Here's Dead Reckoning Part 1. And this was released on July 8th, 2023. But if you haven't seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, it's very entertaining. Tom Cruise, jumping out of trains with parachutes, and I don't know. He said, they say he does all of his own stunts, but the computer graphics are so good on this is that you don't know what he's actually doing and what is, computer animation. And that's why I really liked Halloween 3 Throwback from 1982, because you don't have any of that. It's all claymation and mannequins, and it's from a different time, and in a way it looks more real because it was even though it's not real, the costumes and makeup, there's more emphasis on the costumes and things of that nature because that's all they had to work with. The Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, if you hadn't seen it, definitely check that one out as well. Oh, another old school one that I saw. It's Robert Mitchum. Oh, Yakuza. What do you know about Yakuza? And this is another old school. Yakuza, man. I just recently watched John Wick 4, and the Asian guy, the samurai master, is also the blind guy in, was that Rogue One, Star Wars? He does an incredible job. But for this movie, great story. I mean, Robert Mitchum is one of my favorite actors of all time. He's most known for Western movies. My favorite movie of him is El Dorado with John Wayne. But and that was like in the early 50s. So he's probably in his late 50s, early 60s with this in this movie, the Yakuza, and it's tight. If you like samurai films, it's Samurai of 1974. I mean, this is right after the passing of Bruce Lee, and Robert Mitchum. There's there's not any there's not any nudity in this one, so I could probably get away with showing some clips of this. It's that old school Warner Brothers popping up. It's pretty cool. And, she's got that 70s vibe to it. I mean, it's interesting to see the backdrops and the just the scene settings. But there's Robert Mitchum. I'm trying to find some of the scenes in Japan. He's in like really cool, really awesome homes. I mean, mansions in Japan from like the 1970s. It is just breathtaking. So there's the love interest with Robert Mitchum, and he was in World War II, and he was a soldier stationed in World War II, and he falls in love with this woman. She's a bartender at where they drink sake, like at a restaurant, but then she's also the sister to this guy who's a leader in the Yakuza. So that's them hanging out, getting drunk, drinking sake. And here's the Yakuza. All right, it's about to go down. There's a lot. The fight scenes here are really cool, and the contemporary, in older movies, it's kind of like a snapshot in time. Because I mean, Japan, I think in a lot of ways was pretty similar to this in the 70s. Um, Very beautiful settings. Um, they're playing this. They're playing a game that all of the Yakuza are addicted to gambling, and they're playing this domino. They play like this domino card game, and they're all sitting down Indian style, smoking cigarettes, drinking sake, with their guns and samurai swords everywhere, playing this game. And now you can really see the 70s vibe here showing. I mean, that the purple drapes and the circular, I don't know, design on the walls there. Uh, I don't know if that's wallpaper or if somebody painted that, but very 70s, very cool. Trying to get to the main fight scene here. So these are the two bad guys in the film right here. So there's you got the American guy who's associated with the military, and he's dealing with the Yakuza. So they're both, head military guys getting in to cahoots into business with the leader of the Yakuza. And then Robert Mitchum gets trapped in the middle between the American government, the Yakuza, and then the woman that he's in love with. And then this is the main samurai guy. This is he's kind of like the guy in John Wick 4, he's just like the awesome, Yakuza swordsman assassin. I'm gonna try to find the other scene here. So yeah, this is when they break into their party, the Yakuza party when they're gambling. Let me try to see if I can back it up to get enough. It's a pretty cool scene of just them all just smoking and gambling. You see that tattoo on that guy. I mean, that's not fake. I mean, he really got all these tattoos. They probably hired a lot of Yakuza gang members. Yeah, but that's them in a really cool house. But they're all sitting like, dining room style, but it's, a low table and they're all sitting on pillows. It's interesting. And that's just kind of, how they're chilling. The, Yakuza gang. And they're all sitting around this. There's like 20 of them sitting around this table just gambling. It's just a kind of a really cool, just, moment in time in Japan. Huge fight scene. This guy, you know, this movie came out right after Bruce Lee's passing. Let me try to shrink this here so you can see this other fighter here. So yeah, I mean, old school Yakuza. I mean, all these tats, and it's like 4 or 5 guys going up against, the main ninja assassin right there. If you can find this, Yakuza is definitely worth watching, and it's entertaining, and it's not, don't expect John Wick 4, but it has a really good story that's captivating and pretty unique. And the action is good. So I mean, if you like John Wick 4 or John Wick 3, you'll like the Yakuza 1974 Robert Mitchum. What was another one that I saw that was good? Speaking of Robert Mitchum, so I watched another one of his recently, and it's Robert Mitchum and Marilyn Monroe. The River of No Return. It's not my favorite Robert Mitchum movie, but Robert Mitchum's awesome in this movie, and Marilyn Monroe does an incredible acting job. And she's Marilyn Monroe. She's gorgeous, debatably the prettiest woman to ever live. But she does a lot of singing in this movie. She's a saloon girl in a boom town, and she can really sing. And she's more than just a pretty face. I mean, she was very talented. And there's a funny scene. There's several funny scenes in this, but only because the River of No Return, right? So they go down like they're river rafting on this log raft, and they have to get down to this city. They're getting shot at by Indians, and so this movie was released in the 50s, and so it's like there's them in the boomtown. There's Robert Mitchum. He's looking for his son, and the storyline on here is really good as well, because Robert Mitchum hadn't seen his son in like 12 years, and his wife gets remarried or something like that, and she doesn't want the son anymore, so she sends him to Robert, he's a gold prospector trying to strike it rich. So there's Marilyn Monroe, and playing the guitar in the saloon, and everybody's, she singing for money. She wants that shiny dollar. Love is a shiny dollar. Oh, it's not the Yakuza anymore. Let me change that up. And of course, like every Western, you gotta have a theme song in the movie. The River of No Return. So that's constantly playing. Old Western style music that you don't really hear anymore. But the music here is great. It's better than any country music that I've heard in the last, I don't know, decade or so. But the Western theme, you have Marilyn Monroe. There's not a lot of shootouts, but there's some. And Robert Mitchum's awesome. But but the star of this film is Marilyn Monroe. I mean, I haven't seen too many movies of hers, but she's incredible. So it's definitely worth watching if you can find it. The River of No Return. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening. These are some cool movies that I just watched, the last month. And, if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe and check these out. And if you've seen some other movies you think I should watch, drop a comment in there and I'll check it out. All right. Take it easy.